Okay, so recently, I would say about when I'm filming around 18 hours ago, Cosmodore made another video called Defending Myself. So you know what we're gonna do, but before that, I have a story for you all. So sit down, grab a Skittles, get comfortable, grab your nice warm blanket. So, today, day of filming, someone alerted me in my comments of my Cosmodore video, which I believe is around a month or 2 months old, and they linked his video, and then at the end of it, it said you could just stop now. And I had said, well, I'll give it a look. You might have just gave me a new commentary idea. Whoops. I'll show it up on screen, but I will blur the name and the picture because it does seem like this is a child. So today, we are going to be taking a look at that. I also want to say, even though I do try to make fun, make jokes in this video, this is a very serious situation because this person has groomed and tried to groom many people. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say before we got into this video. I've been kind of dry of commentary ideas, so glad this came out. Well, not really, but you get what I'm trying to say.
This is going to be a statement. This is not an apology video because I feel like I've issued too many apologies here on YouTube and in private, and furthering that sort of discussion is just going to make me seem insincere. And also because it's not my viewers' place to accept any apology I make. That's entirely on the people I negatively impacted, and they already said that they don't want an apology from me, but for me to be out of their lives entirely. What I want to do here is set something straight, say my piece, and hopefully move on from this, because I feel like I've let this go on for long enough, and there's already enough rumors being spread about that I'd rather not perpetuate any further. But those who don't know, I've been accused of being a child groomer for being in a relationship.
Okay, this is really weird because he literally just said that he gave in so many apologies in private, but then makes it clear that the people that he has been apologizing to in private wants him out of their life. So that's a really weird thing to put in there, but go off. He's acting like the rumors of him messing with this minor are just rumors when we have proof about it. So it's really weird. I also like to say that I do recommend watching Daft Peanut's video on it. It is an amazing video, and I suggest you guys go give it a watch.
I'm under the age of 18 when I was 19. I said before that I wouldn't talk about this again, and I really wish I could have been true to my word on that, but the rumors just keep on piling up, and I still get death threats for something I wish I could have been able to put behind me, and I really needed to take a step away from it all to fully realize how ridiculous everything is. As you may know, I live in Germany, and
So he brings up the age of consent in here, and I want to make it clear, I don't feel that it might be 14 of the age of consent in your state, but it could be different in the minor state. Also, I would like to make it clear, dude, I don't feel that ounce of bad for you. You're just someone who groomed a minor and still has a platform due to your audience being young, not old enough to understand the weight of your actions. Moving on.
consent in Germany is 14, as long as a person over the age of 21 does not exploit a 14 to 15-year-old's lack of capacity for sexual self-determination, in which case a conviction of an individual over the age of 21 requires a complaint from the younger individual. Being over 21 and engaging in sexual relations with a minor of that age does not constitute an offense by itself, which is a lot of fancy talk to say I was entirely within my right to have a sexual relationship with someone of that age, which I did not have. But because it's the first thing on Google, that means it must be true, and it's really tiring trying to argue with people like that. Now, because I knew American sensibilities are a little different, I did try to keep my relationship a secret because I really didn't want people accusing me of being a pedophile, but that is exactly what happened. I'm still being called a pedophile for it over something I did when I was a teenager.
Once again, AOC laws are could be different where the minor lives. Also, that's a manipulation tactic right off the bat. He's basically saying since Americans are stupider or some shit, that they are going to accuse him for being a groomer without doing their proper research. We've done our research. You know, Americans and non-Americans done their research on this situation, and we proved your ass that you were guilty. would love to point out the fact that, A, you said that you're entirely in your right to have sexual relations with someone of that age. Problem is here, you have a right to be in a sexual relationship with someone in that age in your state.
A relationship is secret because I really didn't want people accusing me of being a pedophile, but that is exactly what happened. I'm still being called a pedophile over something I did when I was a teenager.
You were 18. You weren't a teenager. Lies.
And I can confidently say that is not the case. I never exchanged nudes with anyone. I never had any sexual conversation besides weird Rule 34 shit you can find on most every Twitter timeline. I never met up with my partner. Literally nothing happened, and I'm still being called—
Damn, we really love lying here. You tried to meet up with a minor at MomoCon. You did have sexual conversations, even asking the minor their tolerance level. Should I go on? Should I also talk about the Discord server where you had a Rule 34 chat in there, where all of your buddies, including 2 minors in that server, would share Rule 34 with each other?
a danger to kids, or that I'm trying to lure in fans by making cartoon videos, which I'm pretty sure only stems from the belief that just because I make videos on animation, that means all my fans are underage, when you can simply look at my analytics and realize that is—
Dude, I literally created my first ever YouTube account when I was 6 years old and put it as 18 years of age. And I bet that's what a lot of your fans did to get access to your videos. You ain't slick. You're not slick, you really aren't.
not the case. So there's that. As far as me being a groomer goes, well, I already said before that it's not a fair term to use and it did nothing to change anyone's mind, so let's look at the definition, shall we? Child grooming is befriending and establishing an emotional connection with a child and sometimes the family to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of sexual abuse. Child grooming is also regularly used to lure minors into various illicit businesses.
Since you love Wikipedia so much, let me pull up the definition of child exploitation. See anything worth a note? How about where it says, internet-based exploitation. So, I think we could call you a child exploiter. Darn. Must suck to have Wikipedia, your favorite internet space, used against you, doesn't it? Also, stop picking and choosing what's inherently sexual or not. You can't just single out the fact that you sent a child porn and say, that was the only thing sexual that I did, but that doesn't count. Like, what? You can't do that.
In all my conversations with my ex, did I ever make any sexual advances toward them? I fully admit that exchanging Rule 34 with them was extremely irresponsible of me, but I genuinely didn't think anything of it at the time. It was long before we started dating, and never did I ever have any intentions of having our relationship become sexual. They themselves had an NSFW Twitter account at the time, which led me to believe they were overage, and even they themselves said the images they shared were nothing more than a joke to them. So I don't really get how you can go from sending Rule 34 to someone who has an entire account dedicated to sharing Rule 34 to thereby grooming them by sending them stuff they already share around themselves. I just really don't get it. Now granted, I did learn of the age eventually, and in hindsight, it would have saved me a whole lot of trouble had it just backed away at that point, but from my perspective, living in a country where the age of consent is as low as it is, I saw this as a consenting relationship between two people, and since even their mom was okay with us dating, I stopped questioning the age difference after a while. And yet, the internet keeps misconstruing it as a groomer-victim scenario, when by that logic, you can say the same thing about any relationship with an age gap like the one we had. I hate that I have to bring this up so much. This is not a comfortable topic for me, and I am in no way excusing my country's laws when it comes to that, but please, I ask that you try and understand where I'm coming from, and that I wasn't trying to hurt this person by putting them in a situation they were uncomfortable with, but that this was an entirely consensual relationship from where I'm standing. And frankly, it's a bit narrow-minded to disregard other countries' cultures just because that's not how you grew up and came to see the world. Now, because I don't want this whole video to be me deflecting blame, let me be clear that I was not a good boyfriend to my ex. I expected way too much of them, I made them undercharge their work they did for my channel mascot, which I've since retired because they said it gives them panic attacks and I don't want to worsen their mental state. I publicly called them out over very minor mistakes, and I stalked them when I couldn't get over them. On top of the Rule 34, these are some severely terrible decisions I've made, and I won't deny the damage this has likely caused, which I can't hope for my ex to ever forgive me for.
Alright, yeah, you kind of did. You asked them their tolerance level. What the hell? You definitely did have sexual conversations with him, and you definitely made sexual advances. This is stupid. Did you just say that your relationship was consensual? What? Did you accidentally fall off of a story house, like a 2-story house, and hit your head, and then went to go film this video? Minors cannot consent to relationships, and I'm so sorry to burst that little bubble of yours, cosmodore, but having a 15 to 16-year-old's an SO is not a culture. It's really, because and that means it's really rude to disregard the culture of where the minor comes from, i.e. not being able to, date when you're 14. But I guess that's just not true. I guess I'm just wrong. Right, Cosmodore? I swear, this video is so bad. Cosmodore, he made this video wanting to get on the public's good side, not to clear up any misunderstandings. Also, would like to point out, if minors could consent, you wouldn't have made this video. No one would have called you out. You imbecile! Also, you talk about the stalking thing. Don't just brush over that like, oh, I'm sorry for stalking you. Traumatizing you. I'm sorry. But not that sorry, because I'm still on the internet. Still making rumors and lying about you. So...
They were talented. Their age was a concern for me at first, but I genuinely thought it would work itself out once they turned 18. I realize now that was not a healthy mindset to have. I shouldn't have gone after them after finding out their age, and I do recognize that there's a power imbalance there, but I was not attracted to them because they were a minor. They were not a fan of my content beforehand, so I didn't use my platform to go after this person, and I especially didn't seek out any other minors like I'm being accused of. I say this because I still see people accuse me of trying to groom Ellis Mark, which I'm not even supposed to talk about because he said he wanted to be left out of the drama, yet he also didn't stop Def Tina accuse me of trying to groom him, which is the very definition of defamation, so I'm sorry, I need to address this. That screenshot you saw in Deft's video where Mark was 16? That was a Curious Cat question. Not my words, but someone else's. They literally put words in my mouth, and I've already talked to a lawyer about it, and yeah, I definitely have a case against Daft if I wanted to go through with that. In Daft's video, you can see Mark approaching me about whether I had a crush on him when he was 17, but I never would have approached him about that myself had he not asked me himself. Him and I spent hours every day talking to each other around that time. We shared a Discord server together, and we were really close, but I didn't want us to get too close either, as I knew it would only make things awkward between us. So I only told my ex about it after we broke up, which, again, was not a nice thing of me to do. But does that mean I was trying to groom Mark? Absolutely not. I was the reason he even got into cartoon videos. I wanted to see him thrive, not because I was grooming him, but because we were friends. Now please don't approach Mark about this situation because, like I said, he wants to move on from this, but don't go throwing around the term groomer all willy-nilly either. I've had people compare me to people like John Kay, like actual genuine predators, because a poor decision born out of a different worldview due to cultural differences when I was still a teenager is totally the same thing as a 40-year-old man being in a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old. Get fucking real. And to be called a pedophile over a minuscule age difference, a child groomer due to something I sent as a joke years ago, is slander at best and a witch hunt at worst. Because realistically, does anyone who calls me these things actually care about the well-being of my ex? Of course not. So long as there's someone to call names and tell me to get help under a video where I specifically stated that I was in therapy, and so when they finally made their own video I thought there was gonna be some big thing to be revealed that would make me reconsider my stance on everything because I don't always know how I come across, but no. It's all things I've already admitted to and assumptions about my intentions without ever reaching out to me because I'm already a pedophile in everyone's minds due to videos where they get the age of my ex wrong.
An even shorter version of it is that he groomed multiple minors, one being 14 at the time.
Say I groped someone, that came my way.
Oh, hey, guys, I groped a child. Huh, what?
Call me a child molester.
But in the screenshot, you admitted to having a crush on Ellis Mark when he was 17. Like, dude, you can't say that it's defamation when people say that you had a crush on Ellis Mark when he was 17, when you just said in the screenshot, lol, yeah, when he asked you about if you had a crush on him when he was 17. Yeah. And guess what? I'm so glad that you weren't into that kid because they were a kid. But guess what? That kid was still a kid, which means you were in. You liked a kid. That's what it means. Also, would love to. If it was quote-unquote defamation, wouldn't that fall on Ellis Mark? I mean, you could try to sue Daft Pina, but I don't really think that would work out in the end. So you have fun with that, bud. Also, I'm so glad that you got Ellis Mark into cartoons or whatever the hell. I don't care. Because guess what? just because you do one nice thing for someone, if you do something like, I don't know, have a crush on him when he was 17, that you know, probably overbalances, you know, you getting them into something that they were ending up being successful into. You are acting like if you were the savior of LS Mark. No, you weren't, hun. No, you weren't. Like, dude, you're really out here trying to, like, say that, oh, I'm not a bad person for having a crush on a literal fucking child. I mean, I guess you could say that it was good that you never acted on that crush. That's a good thing. But the rest of this happened, so I can't really applaud you on that. And even if I could applaud you on that, I wouldn't. Because you're a grown man. So yeah, that's that. I really hate how he's playing the victim card in this. Like, he unfairly got tarnished by the world. But in reality, dude, you literally were the one who had a crush on 2 children now. Dated one, stalked one, sent nudes, not nudes. I'm so sorry. Sent NSW to one. Also, said sexual and talked sexually to that minor. Well, I wouldn't say talk sexually, you had sexual conversations. I mean, I have sexual conversations with my friends all the time about me getting blowed and stuff. But the difference between that is me and my friends are children. We are all around the same age. So, yeah. Also, people did reach out to you. Like the person that you said that I could definitely sue. Yeah, he reached out to you. So gone with this fucking complaint. He reached out for you, for your side, to ask you questions, to give you a chance to say your piece and move the fuck on. You can't say that everyone's just making these mean assumptions about you. People asked you about the situation. No one said that you were 100% trying to groom Ellis Mark. All they said is that it seemed like the way that you were talking to the minor and Ellis Mark were similar, which made them believe that you were planning to groom them. You're acting as if you never tried to groom any of these children. Well, guys, I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. In conclusion, Cosmodore is trash. His address video that I was talking about today is trash. He should not be on the internet at all. His fan base is made up of children, which is why a lot of people, even in his comment section, are very apologetic when it comes to him, because they think that he is in the right. He is not. He knows that because of how young his fan base is, he's going to get away with his actions. And I'm gonna say this: if you have a platform, even if it's 1 subscriber, I think you should call him out on there, because I really think he should not be on the internet. That's all I have for today. My next video is going to be a lot lighter. It's going to be about the vegan teacher. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Bye.